Hey everyone, we are Leen and Wim, a couple from Belgium. Last summer we set out on a crazy adventure, cycling all the way from Belgium to Croatia. We biked 1,600 kilometers through 7 countries, and with every border the journey changed. We rode under burning sun and into cold, relentless rain. We climbed mountains we hadn't planned for and fixed bikes we didn't expect to break. Some days tested our bodies, others pushed our minds. Each night brought a new place to rest and a story worth telling. Belgium to Croatia, 20 days and one unforgettable road. This is not just a journey, this is our journey, and it's only just begun. Flash, boom, wind and rain. That was the nightly stress test our tent had to endure. We woke up to a strobe light of lightning and thunder rolling so close it felt personal. Just in time for Wim to leap up, tighten the storm lines and hammer a few runaway packs back into the ground. For a moment I seriously doubted whether our tent would survive this loose, treacherous sand. But just like a few days ago, the clouds dissolved above our heads in an almost theatrical gesture. Apart from a brief shower and some half-hearted tugging at the canvas, the Rhine stayed politely within its banks, and our sleeping bags remained dry. Morning brings us a gravel path that feels like a parting gift. It rolls out in front of us smoothly, gently rising, soft under the tires, as if it is trying to convince us to linger just a little longer, as though it knows we're about to leave this place and wants to be remembered at its very best. After more than 200 kilometers tracing the Rhine, I didn't keep track but my legs did, the landscape begins to change. The river slips quietly out of view, and with it goes its steady companionship. New ground always announces itself first in the body, in tired legs, in a growing appetite, and, as it turns out, in opportunity. We don't have to look far. Temptation appears almost immediately in the form of a small bakery whose door seems to be permanently under siege. As charming as this morning's gravel path was, it soon hands us over to another one. This one is less playful, less meandering, but straight, clear and unapologetically functional. The road runs arrow straight alongside a stern procession of warning signs. Hochspannungsgasleitung, Lebensgefahr. High-pressure gas pipelines, stray at your own peril. And just in case that isn't unsettling enough, more signs appear, warning of African swine fever in the area. Under a bridge, fencing seals off the surrounding land, not for us, but to contain the invisible threat. Cyclists may pass freely, pigs, I assume, only with a medical certificate.
Danke, Sie auch.
African swine fever plague or not, Africa feels oddly close by now. The temperature has been stubbornly refusing to dip below 30 degrees Celsius for days. In the historic city park of Heidelberg, municipal workers have installed sprinklers. We ride straight through them, grinning like children, under the approving gaze of workers who clearly understand the joy of small, well-timed rebellions against heat. Apparently I picked up a passenger while riding through the sprinklers, one single drop on the GoPro lens, so if the next shots look slightly dreamy, don't worry, it's not a filter, it's just an, well, souvenir. And yes, our tiny hitchhiker is still here, same drop, same spot, but now it's basically got a seat on the bike. But every travel companion has to go home eventually. One wipe and the world snaps back into focus. Goodbye, little lens ghost. It isn't far to Hirschkopf, where we have booked a place for the night. The village's nostalgia turned up to 11, half-timbered houses, flower boxes overflowing with color, and murals that give the walls a second life. We reward ourselves with a local pilsner beneath one of those paintings. The innkeeper hands us the drinks menu through an open wooden hatch, like a scene preserved from a gentler century. A little later, a group of grey-haired men asks if I'll take a photo of them. They too are on a multi-day cycling trip. One of them tells me, visibly proud, how they would go through fire for one another, and how today he even took over his friend's bike when the battery gave out. They have that unmistakable energy of men who have known each other for years. Dry humor, quiet concern, and above all, effortless loyalty. In the name of balance and alongside our beers, we order a generous plate of grilled vegetables, a sort of improvised afternoon snack that feels almost virtuous. A brief rain shower passes through. We take shelter beneath the parasols. When the rain moves on, we do too, setting off in search of our B&B. Naturally, this involves one final, unreasonably steep climb, the kind that appears only when you think the day is done.
Das ist nicht normal.
Legs complain, lungs negotiate, but eventually we arrive. The reward is a typically German room with a beautiful view over the town below. That evening we go out for pizza. Afterwards, Wim feels like ice cream. I resist, briefly, until the Italian gelato man presses a cone into my hand with a wink. Diet ice cream, he says, no worries. I surrender. Licking our cones, we wander through town. On a small square, firefighters are training young recruits. We step into the church where Wim climbs into the pulpit. There is no trace of the sermon he delivers there in any existing gospel, but if I were ever to write a Bible of my own, he would get his own chapter, somewhere between John and Mark, perhaps.